Hey, what's up, everybody? Zach Klein here on the Inner Circle podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this week. Coming up, we dive into the contract of Sam Darnold, the Seahawks quarterback getting paid millions of dollars extra for reaching certain incentives in his deal. Should this be the norm moving forward? And what about non-quarterback positions? If you're a kicker, for example, should you get a clause in your contract if you get 20 consecutive PATs? Should that trigger a bonus? Todd weighs into that. Plus, Aaron Donald was in Seattle for the Seahawks game against the Rams in the NFC Championship. He talked to Tom Brady before the game. He talked to some of the guys after. We'll get Aaron's thoughts on the Rams coming up so close to reaching the ultimate in the sport. That is, of course, the Super Bowl. And speaking of the Rams, what is the future for Matthew Stafford? Will he come back to the LA Rams? Should he come back to the LA Rams? And what goes into the paperwork with the National Football League, the time frame in letting them know that you're retired or indeed you're coming back to play one more year? That and more on this week's edition of the Inner Circle podcast. Hope you enjoy.
It was good, man, to get back in Seattle and that stadium. It was a packed stadium. I got to be on the sidelines, with the anthem. I started to get them emotions again, right? I felt like I felt immortal again, right? Like I was playing. I couldn't stop moving. You start getting them jitters jumping around. Like if they would have said, Aaron, you can play in this fourth quarter to help close this game out, and you're allowed to dress and play, I probably would have went out there and played a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. 'Cause I was juiced up, but it was good, man.
So there you have it. Everybody talking about Sean McVay's, questionable clock management. His biggest mistake was not asking you to play in the fourth quarter. I think that's what it comes down to.
I was in that damn up top, like going itching, like, man, damn, man, golly, man, we just need a little bit more on defense. But I think they played good. I think that Rams offense, Matthew Stafford, them guys, they did a great job against a great Seattle defense. They got down there in the red zone, opportunity to score, take the lead late in the fourth quarter, and Seattle, they bowled up and did what they were supposed to do. And then everybody I don't believe in the Sam Darnold guy, but he got the job done, right? He went out there, played good. They managed the game good. They did a good job of doing play action, establishing a run early, being able to do play action, get them moving a little bit. They got to him a few times, but not enough. I think they didn't affect them enough. They could have, but I think Seattle had a great game plan and got it done. Them guys played well, and they was the better team that day, man. I'm disappointed. Definitely wanted to see my guy, Matthew Stafford, get him another one. Obviously, Sean get him another one and get over the hump for, Adams. Get an NFC Championship, get the opportunity to play in the Super Bowl, fell short again. So I felt bad for those guys, man. My emotion was mad at for 15, 20 minutes, then I get over it. It's a lot different than, when I was playing. I probably would have still been mad, but I was proud of the way they played, how they battled, and congrats to Seattle, man. They earned it.
You talk to anybody post-game? Or once the game ends, you kind of go a different way?
No, I ain't want to bother nobody after that because I wouldn't want to be bothered after the game after a loss like that. So I went straight to in the car, going to my flight to get ready to go home. So long flight, so yeah, man, was in, was out, got to see some ball live, got to relive some excitement for me being back on the sidelines, caught myself praying. When Seattle came out, I'm like, I wanted to go out to hit somebody. I started about to drool, man. Hands, palms are sweaty. I had the butterflies in my stomach, man. So it felt good, though. It was a good experience for me, man. I had the opportunity to do that and relive that a little bit because I ain't get to experience that since, 2023, 24 season. We played Detroit in that playoff game. So that was my first time being able to, be on the sideline with the guys and get them emotions back. So it felt good. It felt real good.
Did you get that guy who heckles everybody? Did you see him?
I seen him. So I was walking. I was walking and he seen me, said, "Respect, you're great," and I gave him a fist pump. So I did see him, and he showed some love. He said he showed some love, so it was good, man. Did y'all watch the game though?
Oh yeah.
Did you watch the game?
I watched.
Which I thought about.
I watched the game. Donald continues to impress me. I think the entire nation's finally seen what he's been able to do all year long. I mean, they were a number one seed for a reason. Nobody kind of puts respect on their name. They just win and win. And Jigba, man, I mean, this guy.
That was crazy. I'm like, but they did a great job with moving him around and get him matched up to when they lose him. I'm like, why is this guy by himself or why he got one-on-one coverage? But they would just move him in the backfield, motion on one side into a slot. They had a great game plan to get this guy some matchups, and they took advantage of it, man. Kudos to him. Like, I was mad at him that day, but golly, that kid's pretty good, man. He's a really good football player. And he was one of the main pieces to that team, getting it done that day. So, yeah, man.
What did Darnold do to earn your respect?
He won. He managed the game. He didn't make mistakes. I think they sacked him about 3 times. I know there was a bad snap where he fumbled, but he got back on the ball. I think he didn't look rattled. He played with confidence. He made good throws. He managed the game well. So, that's what you need. To be able to get to that point, you need your quarterback to play like that, and you need your defense to be playing lights out like they did. So, it's gonna be a good game with that Patriots and that Seattle game. I think in the Super Bowl, I don't know who I would. If I was a betting man, I don't know who I'll put my money on. I think the Patriots from, start to where they at today been playing consistent football. They're a rounded football team. But again, Seattle's a rounded football team. And I think if you go Patriots defense and Seattle defense, I know Patriots got a really good defense, but I think that Seattle defense is just different. I think they just different. They got the front 7. I think that back end, they got them corners that can cover really well. So it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a game to watch for sure.
AD, the quarterback on their side, you mentioned him a little bit ago, Stafford. I think he became the first quarterback ever in the playoffs to throw for over 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and lose. What's he going through right now?
I know it's tough because he played lights out, man. And I always say it like this, man. As long as you got that guy on the field, you got an opportunity to get it done. All you got to do is give him an opportunity. I think it came down with 26 seconds. I know he threw the ball, got the Puka, got another one that just couldn't get out. It would have given him one more shot. You never know what can happen, man. But he's a special talent. Be year 17 and had a year he had, MVP caliber season, all-pro season. Get his team to the NFC Championship, man. I just texted him yesterday, and I just told him, man, hell of a game, hell of a season, and I'm proud of him because, the battle and the head of season they had, and with that young team, it was fun to watch now as a Rams fan on the sidelines. It was fun to watch them guys work, watch him work, and, if you ask me, come honors, he'll probably, be holding the MVP trophy this year, so he earned it. He put the body of work, and I know it ain't the goal. The thing he wanted, was obviously trying to get another Super Bowl. But you got to take all your little wins too, right? So I'm proud of them guys. I'm proud of him and how he played, man. But golly, man, I know a lot of people always saying, is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Fame quarterback? I think he kind of, he answers that question with, close your mouth and just watch. Put the film on, and let his game speak. And he did that. So
you want to break some news for us? Did he hit you back on the text thread and pull an MJ with just 2 words saying, I'm back?
No, he didn't. But I think if you ask me, the way he played this year, MVP type season, I think he got one more left. I ain't telling me nothing, but if I had to assume, I think he come back for another season. But that's his decision to make, right? We're going to see. Only time will tell.
If he was asking you for advice on what to do, what would you tell him? And what do you need to know? Is it the body that goes first? Is it the mind? What told you needed to go?
Well, it was the passion. I didn't want to play football no more. I didn't have the urge to want to play football no more. I didn't have the urge to want to train all year round, right? And I think if you lose that, like, you can still go out there and try to play, but it's a disservice to what football was able to do for you and put you in a certain position, which you was able to accomplish from the game, to just go out there and half-ass, right? So I wasn't raised to, do anything half-ass, right? My dad, I'm in the gym, if I'm half-ass, and he say, hey, if you ain't gonna do it right, don't do it at all, right? So I put everything into football, right? I know he do. And if he still got that fire to want to play, want to go out there, come back, right? But if that fire's down and you're like, I don't know, man. I don't think I want to come back and do camp and go through 17 games again and OTAs and all this and that, then don't do it. But if the fire is still there to want to do that, you got the urge to want to go out there and compete still at a high level, hey, come back, man. I love to watch you keep playing, So, but that was my decision, right? There was a lot other things that took place in my decision as well. Overall, I think it came down to me just, and I was tired of getting double and triple teamed every single play, right? Every time you say hut, I feel like I got 2 or 3 guys blocking me, man. Football no longer became fun to me. So, you lose that and, you lose the urge to want to, train and go through that long season and all the ups and downs that come with it. It was time to walk away from me. And if that's his decision to make, man, we're going to see, though. So
is that the hardest part? Is that it seems like the games in that August through January, whatever, AD, that'd be like the fun part. That's the easy part, right? But it's kind of February through August. That's the grind. That's where the good become great. And if you're not willing to put in the time during those months, that's when you kind of know, like, all right, I got to bail.
Yeah, because you got to think. The off season, you got OTAs, you got camp, and you got the regular season. But you got to think all that prepare you for the ultimate goal was to be in the Super Bowl, right? So all the ups and downs that go in, all the, damn, I don't like how I played. I mean, like, studying film, I got to be better here. I got to be better there. Like you improve, you study yourself, you study your opponent, and you get yourself to a certain point. So come down to the opportunity to be at the biggest stage. You take advantage of it, and you prepared and you're ready for it, right? So if you ain't got the urge to want to put the work in, don't do it at all, right? So. And I always say, man, football been too good to me. I accomplished way too many great things that I dreamed of and surpassed anything I dreamed of from football. So I couldn't disrespect the football gods just going out there for a check, right?
For sure,
you gotta
for
have,
sure.
Gotta have a fire, man. You gotta have a fire to want to do it and want to put the work in, because that's what made me the player who I was. So if I do that, then what am I doing it for? I ain't gonna be the same guy. I won't be the same guy production wise, probably. A lot of people say, "Why, man? You still young. You still look good. You still in shape." My chapter there is closed. I'm into the next chapter now. So,
especially because the level you play at, right? I mean, your self expectation is to be the best of the best. To be just good was still not. That would have been a failure to you. You had to do it at that highest of levels, and it takes everything in your power to be that good. So if it's not there, like, you can't do it.
I do nothing to be average. And like, that's what people don't understand. Like, the emotions that come with football, right? It's like the highs, the lows, the good games, the bad games, like the studying. Then people don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. As you get older, taking care of your body. Like, it was so much I had to do to even get to them games, to be able to. And I'm a guy that's always working, right? So it's so much to go into it. I had these conversations with Todd, leading up to that last year when we decided to get the contract stuff situated, and let's do a 2-year commitment. I'm fully committed to this organization to try to get me another Super Bowl, bring another Super Bowl to the Rams in these 2 years. Obviously, we wanted to put the 3rd year in there just in case it was an opportunity for me to come back. If I chose to come back, it had to make sense, right? And we got to that number that I wanted. Obviously, Todd, my great agent, had to, did a great job with that 3rd year if I chose to come back. But I was full, man. I was complete from the game. And as much as I would have loved to come back and play and get that money, but I just didn't want to, man. I didn't have it in me to, go out there and do that again. So, like I said, I never did it for money. Just on the verge of working my ass off. A lot of things came from that, from accomplishments and financial support for me and my family, that I would have never thought as a kid that it would have, came full circle like it did. But like my dad say, man, hard work. A lot of hard work came into it, and golly, was it one hell of a ride for me. So 10 years, 10 flawless 10 years, consistent football every single year of working my behind off to accomplish what I was able to accomplish and get to a certain point to, be discussed, not with just great defensive tackles, but great defensive players overall, right? And it's like,
GOAT, man. Come on, AD. Don't be humble, man. You're the G.
I love that line, AD. I do nothing to be average,
Nothing.
And I follow that same mantra, in what I do as well, and I know Zach feels the same way with what he does. So, yeah, I'm with you on that.
Hard work.
If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? That's for sure.
There you go.
Todd, how does it work now? How long does Matthew Stafford have to decide his future fate? And does he need to turn anything official into the league and say, I'm done? How does that work when one decides to may or may not retire?
No, there's nothing he has to do to turn in official notice or anything like that. I mean, really, it's just a matter of more communication to your team so they're prepared to figure out what to do if, in fact, you're not going to be there. Do they want to trade for someone? Do they need to do something in the draft differently than they might already do? I mean, he's obviously an older quarterback, so I'm sure draft and free agency are already in their mind as no matter what. But I think just from a roster standpoint, I think it'd be the sooner the better for the club to know, just so they can prepare and make sure that they have the best roster moving forward.
Zach, you with the Rams, and what type of questions are you asking Sean and our organization about Matthew Stafford and them type of conversations?
Did you see AD? Someone did ask Sean and Stafford after the game, and Sean McVay said, "Yeah, of course I'd want him back." What kind of question
obvious.
Is that?
That's obvious.
Yeah, listen, it's all about
I just want
tone.
to know from your point of view. Yeah,
I mean, you can't win this league without a quarterback, so it's
100%.
time and place. Yeah, that's the question, right? What is the plan at quarterback? When do you need a timeline from Matthew Stafford? How long will you be evaluating? I know you have a first-round pick from the Atlanta Falcons. Is that something you considered taking in this year's draft, a quarterback? When you start preparing for the future? I know you have Stetson Bennett on the roster. Did okay when he was in garbage time. He's always been your number 3 quarterback. What's the future there? So it starts with that. That's what I would want to know. I don't care about anything else on the roster, AD. I want to know what's going on with the quarterback. And to Todd's point, the sooner he can start communicating that with the team. Because you only have a certain number of spots at the combine where you can do interviews, right? Are you going to waste one of those? Not waste, but you can take advantage of one of those spots to talk to a Ty Simpson. Maybe take advantage and pick him later in the first round. It starts with that position. It always will be with that position. But going back to Todd's point, AD, you got to find out what's going on with the quarterback and have constant communication with him.
If I'm the team, there's a fine line, though, in terms of the communication and wanting to know ASAP, because no good decisions ever come out of emotion. And, after an exhausting long season and a disappointing loss, your answer today might be different than your answer tomorrow.
Correct.
So give it a little time. Give it a chance to breathe. Know it's a topic that has to be addressed. Plant the seed. Revisit it down the road. In the meantime, the Rams will plan for all scenarios, I'm sure. Never going to be caught, with their pants down, so to speak, to where they're not prepared to know, if option A happens, they got this plan. If the option B happens, they have this plan. They have option A, B, and C planned out already, and they're aware of that, and they have a plan going forward. They're a very well-run organization, a great front office. There's no question in my mind that they're prepared no matter what. And you got to be prepared also for a player who says yes and then maybe later changes his mind too. So no matter what, the quarterback has got to be on the table for them moving forward at some point, sooner versus later, one way or another. So it's in their playbook for sure.
So Todd says the emotion has to wear off. You can't make a sudden, drastic, life-changing decision one way or the other based on emotion. So when you closed out the season, how long did it take you? How long could one expect it to take Matthew Stafford to kind of calm down, gather your thoughts, and think clearly with the emotion of the disappointment set aside?
I don't know. Everybody's different. For me, I kind of knew leading up to the whole season that was going to be my last year, right? And so as soon as the game was over, as soon as Sean seen me walking into the locker room after that Detroit game, he was like, that's it. And I'm like, that's it, right? And everybody knew, I didn't want to make a scene of it, talk to the media about it, right? It ain't about me right now. So, people that knew. And obviously after the day after, we in the locker room, everybody cleaned my whole locker out, was there, talked to everybody around the building. A lot of tears were shed, talking about from the rookie year to where we at now, the whole journey, man. So my situation was different. But Matthew, he got time. The season just ended, right? Sleep on it. Think about it, talk to his family about it, make a decision with him, his wife, and see what best fit him and what he want to do. So it's not an easy process to do, not an easy decision, definitely when you've been playing 17 seasons. And like I said, having a season how he had this year, MVP this year, if you ask me, I think he will be the MVP. So it'll be hard to walk away. I think he still got some stuff left that he want to do and accomplish and with this team. And we're going to see. We're going to see, though. But he got time. He got some time.
Todd, I saw this with Sam Darnold and the incentives in his contract. $500,000 for throwing over for 4,000 yards. $500,000 for completion percentage over 67.5%. $500,000 to lead Seattle to a top 10 offense. $500,000 to make the playoffs. $500,000 to go to the divisional round. Another $500,000 to win a conference championship. And then there's $1 million on the line to win a Super Bowl. Do you think these incentives will be more and more involved in players, and especially beyond the quarterback position, Todd? I know you represent one of the best kickers in the NFL in your guy in Dallas, that you could put in future contracts. Hey, if you make 20 PATs in a row, you're good. If you connect on 50-yard field goals, we'll give you a bonus. How realistic do you think it is for more incentives to be placed more into these contracts?
Well, you got to understand the incentives to begin with, right? I mean, you really want the contract to be in real money and hard dollars in your base of your contract and guarantee. The incentives you want not to be the meat and potatoes. You just want that to be the gravy or the cherry or the little nuts that you drizzle on a sundae. Yeah, the reality is when you're making a player, ideally the highest paid player in the history of the NFL or at their position, whatever it may be, or a very highly compensated player, the incentives, the whole contract's an incentive. If you're not, it's like saying, hey, I want my guy to be the highest paid, a quarterback. And we need a Pro Bowl incentive in there. If I'm a team, I'm looking at you and being like, the whole contract's a Pro Bowl. If you don't make a Pro Bowl, the contract's a disaster because we're paying you the highest paid at the position. When Sam, again, I'm not saying his contract was good, bad, indifferent. I have nothing to talk about that. I wasn't in the situation, but he did a 3-year deal at the time. The market was the market, whatever he could get, I assume. And at the time, he was probably about the 20th highest paid, I think, when he got the contract. And it was in averaging around 33 a year or something like that. So he wasn't getting a $40 million a year that, say, Daniel Jones got on his 4-year deal that same offseason, maybe even a week before Sam Darnold got his deal. He wasn't getting what the 50 and 45, 50, 55, whatever the numbers were at the time that all those guys were getting. So how do you bridge that gap? You bridge that gap by saying, all right, well, let me put in any incentives I possibly can get through to the team. And albeit at the time you're doing them, they're high level, right? I mean, they're very high level. $1 million for the Super Bowl is not something I would look at my player when I did his contract and say, you're going to get this $1 million. Like, yeah, it's there, and you always put it in if you can, because here we are, and he has a chance to actually earn it. But put it in as many incentives as you possibly can to show that your player, if he hits those levels and all those different benchmarks, that he can earn extra money and layer it on top. But at the end of the day, as an agent, that's just sort of the extra and the after the fact. I mean, that is not the focus of any contract that I'm going to be doing. The focus on every contract I'm going to do is real dollars, that if my player dresses, my player is playing and he's playing on that team, whether he plays unbelievable or he stinks, he's getting the money, and that's it. Now, again, if there's a huge gap and we're in a situation where we have to do a deal with that team and there's no other options, well then, yeah, I'm going to try to bridge that gap as much as I can through some sort of performance type based incentives for sure.
I know there's agents or NFL teams rather that listen to this podcast. So I know GMs are fascinated to every word one Todd France from Athletes First divulges on the Inner Circle podcast. So you might not want to get into this, but let's just say you have a guy out there and you know his market value is 10 million and you can get him 10 million. You feel good. The team reaches 10 million. Does one Todd France go, all right, let me have some fun here. Let me see if I can get more incentives to the deal, even though I feel comfortable with the base and everything he's earned. Let me see if I can get another, $500,000, $1.5 million spread out in this contract and incentives, knowing that I've already feel comfortable with that yearly rate that we got our guy.
Yeah,
I guess what's the downside for asking for him?
Well, there's never a downside. There's never enough. I mean, but I would probably argue I'm trying to get more money again in the base cash and or in guarantees and or money up front or cash flow or a better structure or whatever it is before I start worrying about adding the extra flavor, if you will, to the deal.
It's just sexy. It's just people like talking about those things.
Yeah, sure. And it can't hurt, but I don't want to oversell it to someone as if it's real dollars, because it's just not real dollars. I mean, there's things you have to do in order to get it. And so while it's nice to have just in case, it's not something you want to sell the player to bank on. Yeah, don't forget about it, but you still got to do A, B, and C to get it, right?
That's just a bonus.
It's kind of an afterthought, if you will.
What's the week before the Super Bowl like, AD? In terms of wanting your body to rest, preparing for the opponent, worrying about tickets. Walk me through what the week like was for you when you played in your 2 Super Bowls.
Well, the first one was a lot different than the second one because we were just coming off COVID, so we didn't have to really do like the team stuff, the media in person. A lot of stuff was over Zoom, so that was a lot better. But the first one, I felt like it was getting pulled all over the place, right? You got to do your media shoots for, TV, the posing and all that, and it's overwhelming. It is a distraction. You got to do a lot of media stuff. You got to do the stuff with the team where all the teams come and you on the stage, you do this, you do that, then you all sit at podiums, you get interviewed. And it's like, I understand it's the Super Bowl, but you kind of wish it would just be more, you do your media day, your media stuff, and then it's just football. But it's a lot of other stuff that go into it that can be frustrating, that can be overwhelming, and it can kind of throw you off your game if you allow it, right? And I think for some of us, a little bit for me, my first Super Bowl, I did that because I just was like, man, I just want to play football. Like, why do I got to talk to this media person? Why do I got to do this shoot? Come on, man, I'm here to play football, win the game, and that's it.
Now, you sounded like Todd, AD. It's always the media's fault. Blame it on the media, AD.
No, I'm just saying it's just a lot, right? I'm not just saying the media, but I just prefer like regular season. My media, my day, routine, I talk to the
structure.
Media. Yeah, I like that. I'm a structured person, right? And it was so much better my second Super Bowl because I didn't have to be in a hotel all week. We was in LA. We got to stay at the house still. We still training at our facilities. Everything was done on Zoom. So after practice, you just go in the room with just me, a camera, and we just talking to the media. Then you done with that, right? And then on the day we stayed at the hotel was the night before the game. So it felt like a regular week for me. So I was like, I got to do my normal routine, still be around my family. My kids in the house with me, so I'm comfortable, right? I'm in my normal routine. I'm still got my massages set up. I'm still, around what I need to be around to keep my mind where I need to be, the ultimate goal. I come straight to my office in my house, study film all night, right? So for me, it was a lot better, the second one. And and then got to play the Super Bowl in my own damn stadium, right? So it was the comfortability part, keeping my same structure, and my space. For me, I'm more of a guy that's super structured. Like, I don't like change too much. So it's a lot different, a lot better experience. And obviously, if you can see behind me, I ain't lose. I won one. It was a lot different feeling after the game too. Went from, a lot of emotions and down and sad for weeks to, I ain't go to sleep for a week, so it was a whole different experience, man.
I have the best picture with me and your mom celebrating someone caught and sent it to me in the suite during the game with it was just all like confetti. Yeah. It was just it's actually one of my favorite pictures. And with one of my favorite people, your mom, who is by far, she's like, oh my God, I wish
Mama Anita.
We just talked about your mom. If we brought Anita on this podcast,
we'll get her on.
She watched the podcast, so she's gonna be talking about this. She like it that you give her a shout out.
Clap it up.
What's up, Mama?
Clap it up.
She's gonna be excited about this one.
She's the best. I mean, she's hilarious. I have some of the best stories with her. Oh my God! Remember back in the day at the Pro Bowl, we were talking about Ray Rice.
Mama ain't she ain't got no filter neither at all. No filter. No filter. She said how it is. She said how
we'll get her
it
on
is.
for sure. Right on Mother's Day.
We're definitely going to get her on for sure.
Yes. So, but it's a lot. It's a lot for sure though. But it just come with it, man. It just come with it.
Yeah, for sure. As BB King says, you pay the cost to be the boss. That's what it is. Playing the Super Bowl. All the other things you got to do, but you wouldn't trade it for the world. Todd, on the other hand, might want to trade where he's been going on the last 3 or 4 weeks for a few other things. So you're at the Senior Bowl right now? Shrine Bowl? Where you at right now?
Senior Bowl, yeah.
Senior Bowl.
Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile, Alabama. Todd is holding court right there. You're there for a couple days. What's this week like before the Super Bowl week? What is taking up most of your time? What do you got going on at the Senior Bowl, T. France? And then how do you transition that into the weekend and into taking off for San Francisco for the Super Bowl?
I mean, you got a lot of things going on. I mean, you're meeting with players right now. I mean, upcoming free agents. You're meeting with guys that want extensions. You're meeting with guys that might not be happy with their situation. Just talking kind of about their exit meetings from the year and trying to put a plan together for each guy on what we're trying to accomplish this offseason. Whether I think we want to try to pursue a trade for one guy, whether we want to try to get a deal done, what's the best plan. So you got all that going on. Then you also got guys that have some postseason medical issues that we're dealing with. And so we're trying to get, updated MRIs and trying to determine the best plan of action for some of these guys, whether they're going to go try stem cell or whether they're going to go get PRP or whatever. And you got to get it signed off by their existing team because you don't go do things behind the team's back from a medical perspective. They got to know about it. So we want everybody on the same page. Others, we're trying to figure out what's the best situation for them. The younger guys, what are they going to do this offseason? It's their first offseason. What is our plan? How are they going to go train on their own? What are they going to do to take care of their body? All that type of stuff, because obviously it's a new world for them. It's their first NFL offseason. They don't have classes or anything like that from school. So you're dealing with all the existing guys, and then Senior Bowl wise, you're dealing with, for those that are in the Senior Bowl, from your rookie guys that you signed for this draft process or draft class. You're dealing with their families and updating the families on how the guys are doing every day at practice. Not today, but Tuesday was the first day of practice, and then they have practice Wednesday and Thursday, and then walk through Friday, game Saturday. And you had the East-West this last week, of course, Dallas with the terrible weather and their practices and stuff. That was indoors. Mobile, Alabama was outdoors at University of South Alabama. But long story short, those guys are out competing and doing everything every day, practice. They're having interviews and meetings with teams at night and in the morning, and they're doing locked in, just locked in. Like, the practices are intense, and these guys are trying to do their best. Every scout, every GM, head coaches, everybody's here. It's kind of like they kind of like Jim Nagy said last week. They coined the phrase the NFL draft starts in Mobile, and it kind of does. And so it starts to get a lot of answers or questions answered here, and that's kind of what goes on. And at the same time, we got the Pro Bowl coming up. And so we're doing a lot of coordination for all the different guys that we have that are getting ready to go to Pro Bowl. They and the families, and coordinating all their travel. And luckily, I got a great team behind me that has to do all that stuff, because
Jules. Shout out Jules.
Julie and Jennifer and Cam and all them. I mean, if I was doing something, if I had to coordinate that stuff, my guys would end up in Orlando, and I didn't even realize the game was in San Francisco. So they don't want me touching that. So they're going to go. They're doing all that, and then we head out to Pro Bowl, and we got things going. We have company things going on for all the players at the agency. We want to celebrate them. That's just a great time to be able to spend with all the players, and it's a great thing that they got there and accomplished things that they've done to receive that recognition. So we're there for that. And this year, the Super Bowl and Pro Bowl are in the same city. So you end up just kind of staying out there for a long time, because during Super Bowl week, everything that's happening right now, and this is not my wheelhouse, but it's the marketing side of the company. I mean, they're out there cranking and building and doing, appearances and different activations with all the NFL sponsors and getting that whole thing locked up. Eventually, I'll end up getting a sort of itinerary so I know which of my players are doing what and where and what day, and I'll build out my schedule so I can go spend time at Radio Row with Jahmyr Gibbs, who's doing a deal with XYZ company, or I'm going to go be with Dak Prescott when he's doing something for State Farm over here, and I'm going to go spend time with Derrick Henry or whatever it is. I try to spread myself out to be with the guys as much as I possibly can, spend time with them. We'll go to dinners. There's events at night. Athletes First has this unbelievable A1 house where we have all these things going on throughout the week. So I'm ripping and running all sorts of different directions, from Pro Bowl to Super Bowl stuff. Come Super Bowl Sunday, I'm out first thing smoking. Get back to Atlanta. I'll never forget that one year Atlanta was actually in the Super Bowl, and I was leaving Sunday morning, and all these people from Atlanta were arriving, and I knew a bunch of people, I guess, at the airport, and they're like, Todd, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm going. They're like, but the Super Bowl's today. I'm like, yeah, no, my work's done. I'd rather watch that game at home. Plus the players have to pay for if they get these tickets, and they're expensive. And Aaron Donald, yeah, I don't care if he buys me a ticket. He's making a gazillion. He can give me that ticket. No, I probably owe him for that one too. I shouldn't bring that up. It's checks in the mail, AD.
Yeah. No, you good.
The guys have family and all that stuff. So I love to get back, and I love to watch the game. And obviously sometimes if it makes sense and there's a client in the game, I'll stay for the game. But love to fly back and then watch it with the family. And it culminates the whole season and everything that's been going on. So season, no season. There's no such thing as an off season other than the fact that the guys aren't physically playing. It's just constant. It's ongoing. And, then you get a brief break, and before you know it, you're at the damn combine and you're preparing for free agency.
I was about to just say that. As soon as you're done with that, you go straight to the combine.
Yeah.
And then OTAs. And then you still ain't no break. Damn, that's crazy.
No, and we're still finishing contracts for all these NIL guys and the portal guys. So it's a lot, and it's good, but I have a great team around me. I'm not like a one-man band. I am, what makes me great is the people around me, and I surround myself with great people and a great team. And we're a well-oiled machine, and everyone knows what they do and to do it best. But you have to treat every player as an individual, because there's not a cookie-cutter process to this. Every player is different. Every situation is different. Every need that they have is different. Some want more communication, less communication. Sometimes families are involved. Players, want to not have families involved. Sometimes they're married. Sometimes they're not. There's just a lot of moving variables, and you got to play the game and understand how to do it all. And I've done it for a long time, so it's kind of easy, and it just works. And so I love it. Obviously, I have passion. I talk a million miles an hour, but that's just kind of how I operate, how I roll. Yeah, that's how my mind. That's how my mind goes.
Listen, you're going from by the time you get up to the time, late in the afternoon, early evening, you are just nonstop. You are on, you are going. So the question is this, because I know you, and I know you prefer to be in bed by about 9 o'clock San Francisco time, because you've been going all day. If AD and I are to go to San Francisco, and through your sources, you're going to get us into the party at night, what's the one event Todd France can hook up Zach Klein and Aaron Donald to go have a good time in Super Bowl week? Is it still like the Maxim party, the Playboy party?
It's all the same. It's all the same parties. Whether it's Playboy, Maxim, EA. I mean, all the different brands are doing it. And I stay up. Believe it or not, I stay up. Yes, I can. If there's music and whatever, I can do it. I mean, but it's not easy. I'm not gonna lie. There was one time I was at a place. I forget where it was. It was L.A. And I was with Dak and some other guys, and like Future and Drake, and they were there, and Drake had like taken his phone, I think, and maybe connected it to the DJ. Halfway asleep, but like he came over to the table to talk to Dak. I literally was like, I vaguely even remembered I was so like in and out of it, but like it's 3 a.m. our time at midnight, right? So like it was
They're
an
just
easy
warming up.
He was hanging, but you was a little out of it. Like, you look a little tipsy. Like, I ain't drink, I'm just sleepy.
Yeah, exactly right. Because I gotta go. Some guys might be able to sleep in. I gotta go crank it back in the morning. Yeah, so I may or may not go to the bathroom and may or may never come back. but don't look for me. I can handle myself, so I'm good. Don't worry about it.
I know I tried to force a couple of drinks on you before. You're like, you throw it over your shoulder.
AD is a bad influence. This dude, remember AD when we did, I used to do a football camp in Atlanta for like 12 years straight. I mean, we put it on for like 50, 60 of my players, fly them all into Atlanta 4 days. We did it for free for kids. And
we used to look forward to that.
It culminated in the end with a celebrity waiter and waitress event. And then the next night we just did a sort of a player event. And I purposely, it was at the end of June, And I literally, the party was from like 7 to 11. And I shut like in 11 o'clock, I was like, it was at Del Frisco. So I was like, turn the AC off. It's the only way I'm gonna get these dudes out of there, right? Because it's got to get hot, right? And by the way, I learned from the years before, all the nice bottles, put them away. Do not put, because you can't have them sitting out there and then they say, no, you only get Kettle One when these guys are going to want, whatever else it might be, especially a person named Aaron Donald after a cocktail or two at that time. And so, and then the last thing, that's what he does right there is he grabs me. And then he wants to put me in the old AD headlock, which in his thing is like love in a way to hug me, but he's literally hurting me. And then he takes the bottle, and then it's like he wants to pour it down my throat. And there's two issues I have. Number one, I don't want to consume that alcohol. But the second thing is
he's a germaphobe.
I just saw how many people were drinking out of that bottle. This germaphobe wants nothing to do with that. Like, do not put that bottle on. Get some alcohol, rub the alcohol around that thing, maybe a clean bottle. I do not want my lips on the same thing. These guys have been just like.
No, you got a waterfall. You got a waterfall.
That's why I could never play in the NFL. I could never do that thing where they take the hose and they put it in everyone's mouth. I was like, I need my own separate one. Thank you. And my own separate shower stall and all that. But yeah, AD is
good
not.
Good times, man. Good times.
That was just one of the times, believe me. As long as there's a plant or something nearby that I can turn and do the old spit in, to get rid of whatever I put down my. And the players are laughing so hard when they think I'm drinking, so they're laughing and turning. They're not even paying attention, and I'm out there just completely. I'm getting rid of it.
Tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Man. That Waffle House food truck was outside waiting for you, AD. Remember that?
Yes. Yep. Yes, I do.
Yeah,
me and my brothers used to look forward to that every offseason. We looked forward to that.
Yeah, then they want me to go out with them, Zach, and they only want me, not because of me. They just want the black card. And that's why Todd dips out and says, Todd's not going out because I'm not getting stiffed. It's like a rookie dinner. Go to the dinner, but don't go to the after party because you're going to lose a lot more money. I was like, I'm good. I'm going to go home. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Good times.
Andy, I'm saying
times.
We go to San Francisco, you put him in a headlock, I grab the black card, and it's on.
Yeah.
How about we just get him a nice drink? I'm a little older now, a little bit more mature. We're going to just get a nice cocktail. We're going to sip, maybe get a shot, our own glass, and just throw one back and, cheers. That's it.
I'll do that.
Do
I'll do that with you all night. That'd
be fun.
AD,
the young, I was still, probably a year or two removed from college. So I was still, hard work, but, you work hard, you play hard. So I was,
lived it.
A little different now. It
was a hard week, man. You were out there with the kids, 600-700 kids, and from 8 to noon.
It was
hot.
It was. I used to love that though. I think
it was fun.
First couple years in the league, we enjoyed it. Me and my brother like, we going to Atlanta this year? I'm like, we going to the Todd got the party. We there. We used to look forward to that, man, for sure.
Yeah, every year.
Let's wrap things up, Todd. You mentioned the Pro Bowl that you'll be out there, how it coincides with the Super Bowl, same week, same location. So maybe you could say hi to Shedeur Sanders for us, huh? More interceptions than touchdowns, ranked 41st in passer rating out of 42 eligible quarterbacks. He finished on a losing team with a losing record. Threw for 1,400 yards, 7 TDs, but he's going to the Pro Bowl.
I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy for him. First
is
year.
Shedeur Sanders really a Pro Bowler, AD? Come on.
Obviously he is. It's his title now. It don't matter what nobody say. He got it, right? He accomplished it.
There's alternates, and there's alternates for the alternates, and alternates for the alternates, and things happen. I mean, he probably does have I'm not going to get into it all. He's not my guy. I don't know. I assume, there's 1/3 of the votes come from the fans. I bet he had a bunch of fan votes. He's a very polarizing name. So they're probably, the fact that you even bring it up, people are going to talk about it. So it's probably a good thing NFL-wise. I don't know. I just know that, Pro Bowl-wise, there's just guys get elected and nominated, whatever, and then there's a lot of guys that can't go, like a Drake May and others that can't go, and they start backfilling, whether guys are injured or just don't want to go or have a contract coming up, so they don't want to, risk getting hurt or whatever it might be. Sometimes you end up a little deeper at a certain position in terms of grabbing a guy to be in it.
And I'm not throwing shade at the young man. I'm not saying
it's
like,
a hell of an accomplishment, right? But it's an all-star. But
that's what
I would say this. It's an all-star game, right? You happy to accomplish it. You're happy to be a part of that. But you're still young too. The next goal is, you want to be the all-pro. Why? Because there's only 1 or 2 of those guys. 1 for every single position. You got obviously 2 for D tackles. You got 2 D tackles, but as a quarterback, there's 1 of those guys. So, that's the next goal. That's what you shoot for, because I know as a rookie, I came and I'm like, I'm a Pro Bowler. I just assumed that I was going to be an all-pro. And they're like, no, all-pro is different. And I was like, oh, I'm happy with the Pro Bowler, but I want to be an All Pro. There's only one of those. I want to be that guy. I want to be the top dogs. You know, everybody it steps to it. You know, you got to work for it. That's all.
And there's truly no rhyme or reason, honestly. I mean, you could look at Derrick Henry, who's second in the league in rushing. James Cook is first, and Bijan is third. And Bijan is first team All Pro. Cook is second team All Pro, and Derrick's neither. So how does that happen? I mean, Josh Allen won MVP a year or two last year, I think it was, and he was second team All Pro. How does that happen?
To your point, it's an all-star game. It's for the fans. They're not competing. They're playing 7-on-7. They're running through hoops. They're catching punts. They're enjoying and putting on a show for the fans. It's like the NBA All-Star game in basketball when the final score is 211 to 205. They're just putting on an offensive show, but on your resume, it says All-Star. On your resume, it says Pro Bowler. And at the end, 10 years from now, you're looking at AD, a 10-time Pro Bowl. You're like, holy shit, man. He was one of them. But so that's, I guess, how you need to look at it through the context of what it is. The Pro Bowl and the All-Pro are two totally different things. And AD, it's in your world, in your space, Todd, it's about being an All-Pro. That's the best of the best. Because everything else is for the fans. ADT friends, as always, we appreciate your time. Safe travels, Todd, to wherever you're going to go, back to Atlanta, out to the West Coast, to San Francisco for the Super Bowl. AD, I know we'll talk next week as we get ready for the Super Bowl. Hard to believe, but Seahawks and Patriots for the best of the best in 2025 football season. Much love, guys. Talk soon. Thanks for everybody hanging out on the Inner Circle podcast. We'll see you next week.